So let's talk about Shedeur Sanders, and this watch that he is flashing when he does something miraculous to help his team win. Let's talk about the last game against ASU. It was 50 seconds left to go in the game. The cameras was on Shedeur. Everybody was, you know, on the edge of their seats wondering what's going to happen. Will Shedeur be able to lead his team on this last possession drive to win the game? And here you go, Shedeur. He throws a big time pass to one of his wide receivers, gets it down to the opponent's 43 yards. The field goal kicker comes out and hit the game winning field goal, led by Shedeur Sanders. And I've said it in several of my videos, is that Shedeur Sanders is the truth. How I know he's the truth is how he is poised in the pocket, how he is not phased on how his offensive line is straight hot garbage and not able to protect him like they should, but he still has this uncanny ability to get up, dust off the dirt, the grass stains off his football jersey, and is able to gather himself and go out there and win the ball game for his team, the Colorado Buffaloes. There has been a lot of negative things and some positive things about Shedeur Sanders and this watch that he's flashing. And a lot of people have gravitated to it. DJ Khaled and a lot of professional athletes have started doing his celebration where he flashes his wash up, you know, and for whatever reason, it's rubbing some people the wrong way and rubbing some other people in a positive way. I'm going to give you my podcast thoughts. But first, I want to talk about there is a analyst who is a college football analyst on Twitter, RJ Young. And he made a couple of posts in regard to the situations. One of them was, he said, number one, forget that Shedeur Sanders' watch is a custom stainless steel Audemars Piguet Royal Oak 15500 with 30 carats of VVS diamonds. Number two, forget his watch is valued at $70,000. And number three, remember he bought it when he was still playing at Jackson State. Now, I don't understand um, what his, I understand what he's trying to say. He's trying to say is that this guy been him even when he was at Jackson State. And he's just not flashing any type of watch. He's flashing a $70,000 watch. Let me just say this, man. That's cool. I'm happy for the brother. That's fine. But understand this, that there are other players that's on his team that does not have a $70,000 watch that they can flash. Also remember this, there are people on his team that do not have the resources to purchase the $70,000 watch. And I believe the same people that's on his team understands is that he is put into a very blessed situation to be able to afford the nice material things in life that money can buy. Let me preface that by saying that. Me, I don't care if you flash the watch. I care is how you're able to handle yourself in adversity and handle yourself when you're able to persevere. I understood Shedeur Sanders because I understood a lot of the negative things that was coming at him during that ACU game. And we're just going to keep it at the ASU game, right? There were a lot of fans of ASU that were saying a lot of negative things about him, saying that he's a joke, and God knows, saying other things about him. And when he had the opportunity to shine, he stepped up to the plate and he pushed forward and persevered. And that was his way of coming back and see, I told y'all I'm him. Look at this. Y'all know what time it is. And he was flashing the watch in a figuratively way and also literally way, saying that, yeah, I got this $70,000 watch, but y'all know what time it was. It was Shedeur Sanders' time. Now, I'm going to go to another tweet that RJ Young said. He said also is that Shedeur Sanders really out there with this whole 70,000 watch on his wrist. Number 2, Shedeur got juiced like David Beckham in 1999. Number 3, Shedeur got juiced like Allen Iverson in 2004. Number 4, Shedeur got juiced like LeBron in 2012. And number 5, Shedeur got juiced like Messi in 2023. Let me say this. I have to keep it real. I'm always going to keep it real on the Royal Figures podcast. Some people may not like it. Some people will. If you don't like it, at the end of the day, I don't give a damn. Let me tell you why I watch sports. I watch sports, and let me give you an example of a person. Several people, but one, Michael Jordan. I was fortunate enough to watch Michael Jordan play in person. I mean, you know what I love about Michael Jordan? Was when he was losing for the last 6 years of his career in the playoffs against the Detroit Pistons, and a lot of the things that the Detroit Piston fans that were saying things about Michael Jordan, right? You very rarely saw Michael Jordan going at the fans. You very rarely saw Michael Jordan going at the fans and flashing any type of materialistic things that he had at that time. He didn't go back and put on a necklace on, over his neck, or put on a watch that I'm quite sure that he had in his repertoire and flashed it in front of the Detroit Pistons fans. He shook hands with a couple of people, but also it was his will to win, is that when he was able to beat Detroit, he was like, yeah. I bring up that point is that I want to make sure is that Shedeur Sanders is safe. I want to make sure that he doesn't do anything that can incite a riot or something that can cause some type of physical harm to himself, to his team, or to the opposing team or fans. You see, we live in a world where a lot of people get jealous. And what I mean by that, we live in a world is that people become jealous of other people by the way they react, by the way of the things that they have, and how they conduct themselves. Now, what I'm saying to you is going to go over some people's head, and that's fine. But some people understand what I'm about to say. In my eyes, it's so very important is that when Shedeur took the time after you won, and it was premeditated because the cameras and the phones of the cameras was on him. And as soon as the game was over, he put the watch on, and then he ran over into that one specific section. And what I would say, and I understand I'm not his father. His father is Primetime Sanders, but this is what I get paid to do. And what I'm saying to you is that you have to be so very mindful is that when you go out there and do something, who's to say something could have been thrown at Shedeur Sanders from the stands? It could have been a bottle. It could have been anything. And then the reaction of Shedeur Sanders or the people that were around him, there was no security. You have to be careful on how you respond and the things that you do, because it may get a reaction that can harm you or people that are around you or people that are doing something to you, and it can escalate things in a negative way. Now that we know that it's out there on social media that you're flashing a $70,000 watch like RJ Young put out on social media, don't you realize, RJ, even though you thought you was educating people, you really put a target on his back. Now that's going to go over some people's head. That's going to go over some people's head. And I'm going to tell you something. This is not about hating. This is not about jealousy. This is not about I wish, because I don't even, that stuff like that is not my main priority. But let me tell you this. You put an unnecessary target on Shedeur. Now the opposing teams, and now there could be somebody in the fans, there could be somebody that know, oh, that's a $70,000 watch, let me snatch it off of them. That's a $70,000 watch, let me throw something at him. He throwing it up in our face like we ain't nothing. Be very, very careful. And if this message of my podcast episode of the Royal Figures podcast is able to get to Shedeur, understand, I respect you, my brother. I am happy for you. I rooted for you against ASU. Man, me and my wife, we would sit there, man, with my son, and we were just saying, 50 seconds left. I mean, I know he got it. So this is not about hate. This is not about jealousy. This is about understanding that the gifts that you have and understanding that moving forward, just be mindful of your actions after you do something that's miraculous, because sometimes everybody is not willing to accept that. And I'm just speaking out over protection of you, Shedeur, is that you have to understand that everybody is not happy for you. And when you have everybody that's not happy for you, and now since we have someone that's RJ Young that's put it out there on what you're flashing, it can become a negative response from other people who don't care nothing about you, Shedeur. One thing I like about a lot of top athletes, man, is that they let their game do the talking. It's okay to cheer. It's okay to say, yeah. But when you go above and beyond, now this is my opinion, when you go above and beyond to go and put that wristwatch on, and then you go and you run over to that specific section and you flash that $70,000 watch, it can give a reaction that is not positive back, and it can cause some type of negative reaction. Just warning, just giving some insight, man, is that your game does all the talking for you, man. And you do a great job in playing the game, and much respect to you. Hopefully you're able to stay healthy for the rest of the season. And I hope it doesn't fall on deaf ears of all my subscribers, all my listeners, and then people that's going to chime in on this and don't give their point of view, which I welcome it, long as it's in a respectful way. But at the end of the day, be mindful, always mindful, because every reaction comes with consequences, good or bad. And just be mindful. This is a very emotional game. A very emotional game. And somebody will win and somebody will lose. And then when it comes across and people can be saying stuff to you, all type of things to you, I get it. I understand. Probably a lot of derogatory names was called at you, but much is given, much is required. And when you understand that moving forward is that, you know what, I want to stick it to them by, flashing my watch at them, but just understand it can have a negative connotation that comes with consequences and it can escalate a situation. Just keep that in mind. Stay tuned to the next episode of the Royal Figures Podcast.